It's so important that you are deliberate about your career path. It's so important that you don't take random decisions about your career. It's so extremely important that you are so focused when it comes to your career path. Why am I saying this today? A lot of women, a lot of people are going through what we call bottlenecks, what we call serious challenges that end them up in what we call maybe midlife crisis as a result of poor career decisions. Welcome to another episode of Sparks and Blues, where we talk about lifestyle issues, business issues, and career issues. We'd like to appreciate those of you that are watching and following us on all our social media handles. I would like to appreciate you for subscribing so far on our YouTube channel, and would encourage you to further subscribe if you are coming across us for the first time. Thank you and welcome to today's episode. So yes, we'll be talking about choosing your career today. And in doing that, it's so important that you are deliberate, you are intentional, and you are totally focused. A lot of things, a lot of distractions are happening these days, and because of a lot of economical situations, or let me say economical issues going around globally, most people tend to jump and move on to various kinds of jobs simply because of the financial aspects of things. Oh yes, finance is quite critical, it's so important to everybody. However, the essence of today's video, today's episode, is to talk to us about being intentional about what we call a career path. So a career path is something that you decide to choose because it's not going to be thrown at you, by the way. You actually need to be deliberate about it. You need to be intentional about it to know where you are going, what you want to be within an extended and a massive value chain. So all sectors have their value chains, which are usually so big, massive, extensive, and all of that. So for example, I'm a registered nurse, and within the nursing value chain, we have a whole lot. We have clinical nurses, education, everything, business, just think about it. So it's the same thing. In finance, you have people that do things like maybe they want to go into core banking, they want to have like an app that does money transfers internationally or locally. Some want to go into loan applications and all of those kinds of things. That's what I mean. So it's important that you know the industry where you are playing in and the aspects of the value chain you want to carve a niche for yourself. That is just me giving like a raw explanation of what a career path is. So it's your role, it's your job to decide where you want to fix yourself in that entire circle. And some of the things that will help you do that is your interests, your strengths, and then your long-term goals. You know, where will this take me to? If you're somebody that wants to end up in leadership, that wants to achieve the apex levels of their career, you need to know if this chosen aspect is going to take you there. So for instance, if you've decided that, okay, I want to end up at the apex levels of my career, however, you lack the qualifications or the course, your chosen field of study doesn't qualify you to probably head those institutions, you already know what to do. Begin the journey by, try going on that path to get those qualifications. So those are some of the things, I'm talking about. So now there are a lot of distractions that would also come along the way, especially relating to finance as well. It's important that you are also aware that, okay, if I jump the gun and go for this, probably a big role, a big offer, what's going to be next? What's going to come out of that? Is this still going to place me on this career path I've chosen? Is it going to derail me from it? Is it going to probably just take me into something else that I'm not an expert in? And then if I still decide that I want to get to the apex level of that new journey, will I be able to achieve it? These questions will help you take these critical decisions. I'll also put up my own story again. So while I worked in health insurance many years ago, I think this was around 2012, 2013, where we were all like, oh, we need money, and all of those things. Those salaries are small, salaries are not enough. After getting paid, you just practically have almost nothing left. So we're all basically really hustling. Yeah, but I was working within one of the top 3 HMOs at the time, owned by a big bank. So yeah, it was a top organization and it was good. things were moving. Yeah. A lot, I needed a lot as well to do at that time, which I had sort of planned out because I knew where I was going. I knew what I wanted. It was crystal clear. And then on a daily basis, I knew the kinds of things I needed to be doing, the steps I needed to be taking to move me closer to this dream of mine. And so I was at the job. I think that was like my second or third year at that particular role. And then there was this client who were managing. And then for some reasons, they felt, okay, I think, Joy, I like the way you are interacting with us. It's a telecoms organization. They were really big. And then they said, we have a medical team within, and we would like you to come on board to be one of us. And then I had the interview, and of course, they sent me the offer. Most of the people I shared this feedback with all encouraged me to go. The salary was almost double what I was earning at the time, and they felt, it's a big organization, a bigger brand, so to say, than my brand where I was working then. I took a deep breath, I looked at it, and I had to take a decision. And what did I do? I declined. These were my reasons. I found out that role was outsourced, which meant that corporate, that telecommunications entity, did not have a medical sector in its organogram. So the medical sector was probably a unit under probably human resource that was meant to be supporting human resources. I think that was what it was. And at that time, it took a lot for somebody in my level to understand that. A lot of people did not have that inclination at that time. They would have just easily jumped. So it's important that you know what you're doing. It's important that you understand your terrain. It's important that you understand the space where you are playing. Do not go to work daily without having a robust knowledge, a robust understanding of what it entails, of what the structure looks like, of what the entire value chain of that sector looks like, how you can navigate your journey towards leadership, and what roles meant, what position, and all of those kinds of things. So at that level, I could understand that, okay, if this position, this offer is coming from an outsourced firm, it simply meant that telecommunications organization technically had no medical institution, or let me say medical department officially. This is an outsourced thing. So it meant for me that I was going to be leaving a permanent role to becoming a contract staff. That was a no-no, number one, which took a lot for me to understand. Most people did not understand that at that time. That was one. Two, I did not get carried away because of the salary, despite the fact that I needed money. So money was not the driving force for me. Rather, I had a bigger vision, which is what I keep talking about on this channel. It's important that you are clear. Guys, it is so important that you are clear about where you're going. If you're not, a lot of confusions will come your way, a lot of distractions will appear, and trust me, all these kinds of distractions are the big things that lead people to midlife crisis. And so I looked at it and I rejected the offer. So I said I rejected the offer because I could see that the structure of the organization lacked a medical team that would give me a direction of growth. Why? Because I knew that I was in a good plan. Two, I wasn't driven just by salary and, the financial aspect of things. So yeah, those were the two critical reasons. The job offer wasn't going to align with my bigger vision. And then I did not want to just, jump in because I needed money. So I decided to, turn down the offer. And we are here today. So at 2013, I turned that down and I kept going on with my job. And what was I doing? I was like a junior staff at the time, and I had a lot of bosses. So I kept understudying my bosses. I kept checking what they were doing, following them for meetings, practically looking at their lips when they spoke so that I could understand what to say if I was left alone or if I had a chance. I knew I was definitely going to get a chance because, I understand and I believe so much in the principles of life that if you follow certain paths, it will always get to your turn. What usually happens is People are unable to wait for their turn because it's difficult to wait. People find it discouraging when it's not adding up yet and it's taking time. So these things are quite difficult. You need to be resilient. You need to be dogged. You need to be determined. Determination is part of the recipe that would enable you wait. And then, I kept doing these things on a daily basis, studying these guys, checking what they were doing. And trust me, at the time, within the industry where I played, the story, or let me say the unwritten code, was that the only people that could head health insurance organizations must be medical doctors, which of course I was not one. So that was the code for my industry. So it meant to me that I had no chance because I'm a registered nurse, and that was just it. I had no masters. But what did I do? I just believed in myself because I could then see everything. And I was like, all these things can also be done by other people. And I could see that other things were also needed, which I had, which were things like, being able to do other things, understand finance, understand business strategies, understand business structures, and, just being vast about these things. Being a strong negotiator, being a strong communicator, being a people's person, being a strong salesperson. So I was like, these things are not going to come as a weight to me at the end of the day. These attributes are definitely going to add up and take me somewhere. And I was hell-bent at arriving there. I knew I was qualified. I knew that I had what it takes to lead in this industry. So I kept moving. And I was like, something is going to change. And, well, I don't know how it's going to change. I don't know when it's going to change, but I know that I would be there, And then I kept moving. I kept, taking exams, professional exams. I went on to get a master's, and I just kept building myself, doing the good things on a daily basis, strategic things on a daily basis, going in, getting more committed, and all of those things. And then when the opportunity came, I was qualified, because the opportunity would definitely come to everyone. But what happens is, would you be qualified? Would you have been able to wait for your time? Would you have been able to put in the work that needed to be put in to make you ready when the opportunity would come? So those are the things that happens that, makes people have issues with planning their career path. So it's important that you understand where you're going and you don't get distracted along your journey when things become difficult, when things become hard. And I think the biggest one for me is, if you are driven solely by salary, by money, I think it's a big recipe for poverty. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, but I stand to be convinced. Somebody can send me a DM if they feel they want to discuss that, because I've been told that, that's the school of thought I work with, and I've seen it in practice. I can see it happening. If your sole word that drives you is money, or your salary, what's the package? I try to interview people and I hear things like, even before saying what's the role, they hear what's the package. I don't go further with such interviews, because if you are driven solely by your salary, trust me, it's a recipe for poverty. And when you are caught up with this thing called poverty, you are going to be sad, you are going to be frustrated. It means you are not going to be able to deliver quality work outputs. And I am a strong believer of somebody that can only understand quality work outputs. I'm not cut out for average, below average. I really don't play in that space. It's important that you are able to deliver work of quality outputs, and then if you have shortcomings, you can bring them forward. You could be supported. Yeah, that is, how I can actually relate. So, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening.